What if I told you one of my most satisfying platinums from this year came from the iconic robot of the 80s that has the gun the size of a microwave? Robocop Rogue City is one of those games you don't expect to love until you're knee-deep in crime, blowing away thugs in slow motion with a smirk on your face. It's gritty, nostalgic, and surprisingly well put together. But how does it hold up as a platinum experience? My name is Mitch and welcome to GamerRN. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's get into the platinum for Robocop Rogue City. Real quick, if you have no idea what this game is, let me enlighten you. Developed by Teon and published by Nason, Robocop Rogue City is a first-person action shooter set between the second and third Robocop films. You play as Alex Murphy, part man, part machine, all justice, as he returns to the crime-ridden streets of old Detroit to restore order. What makes it stand out isn't just brutal gunplay, but the incredible respect it shows to the source material. Now I did have to look this part up, but it does have Peter Weller returning to the voice of Robocop in an original story that for some people feels like it was ripped right from the 80s. Now, I never had the luxury of watching Robocop in theaters, because personally, when it originally came out, it came out 11 years before I was born. And honestly, I never really went back and watched the original 3, but I did have the luxury of watching the film from 2014, which I personally thought was great, but from what I can tell about this game, it definitely hits that Robocop nostalgia for some people. For me, this was a great way to experience the story and characters and just the overall world of Robocop. So to start off the platinum journey, I decided to look up a guide, and I found one on PowerPix and it said the platinum should take around 10 to 15 hours. So this was definitely going to be a nice change of pace, especially since I just finished Gotham Knights Platinum and Suicide Squad before that, where both of those games just felt like complete drags and all I was doing during my time playing them was doing my best just to get through it. If you're interested in those videos though, I'll leave them linked below. But anyways, I started the game off and I was introduced to Casey Wong, who was giving the evening news, when a group of thugs called the Torchheads decided to break into the news station and started holding hostages. Now, the overall goal from the Torchheads was to attract a new guy in town who was apparently going to be a big guy in the crime business. But this is when we're introduced to Robocop, also known as Alex Murphy, and his partner Ann Lewis. It's going to be up to Robo and Ann to go into the news station and put a stop to the Torchheads and their leader Soot. So once inside the news station, I learned how to play the game and was introduced to the gunplay. I also learned really early that you could pick up any enemy and throw them, as well as you can throw different items at enemies and practically defeat them with one hit. So after my first time eliminating an enemy using a throwable object, I earned the first trophy of the run, Strikeout. Now this was the first trophy, so we are officially locked into the platinum for this game. Continuing the main story, I managed to complete the first mission of the game and saved all the hostages within the news station, but this came with some serious malfunctions from Robocop. But finishing the news station earned me the trophy, The Night Has Just Begun. When I got back to the police station, I learned that I would have to be evaluated for each of the missions, and I also had to undergo a psychiatric eval. But during my first eval for the mission, I earned an A and got the trophy, Officer of the Month. I was then allowed to go back onto the streets and investigate an arcade that was selling drugs to kids. But on my way to the arcade, I saw a car that was actually illegally parked, and I gave that person driving it a ticket and got the trophy, Uphold the Law. I made an attempt to help save a thief that was stealing drugs from the local dealers, because he was going to be hurt by the dealers that he was stealing from. During my rescue, I actually shot a dealer in the no-no spot and got the trophy, zipped this up, finally making it into the arcade and clearing it out. I managed to get 2 trophies when I was leaving, one for finding the secret area and the second for finding the first OCP skill disc. And with that, I unlocked the trophies No Stone Unturned, and I'd buy that for $1. Continuing the story, I made it to the Torchhead's base of operations, and I was going after the leader Soot, who had info on the new guy in town. I managed to take out 3 enemies with 1 explosive, which actually took me multiple attempts and reloading the last save point, but I finally got the trophy, Nuke 'em. After finding Soot and meeting the new guy, known as Wendell Antonowski, I got the trophy, Dead or Alive. After this mission, I managed to figure out how to equip a chip to Robocop's pistol for the first time, and I got the trophy, All Adds Up. I had also been working towards upgrading one skill to the max level for Robocop, and I finally managed to upgrade my deduction to max level for the trophy, Practice Makes Perfect. Now the reason I went for deduction was because this skill actually gives bonus XP, which meant I would level up even faster, which means more skill points. Now going further into the story, I needed to infiltrate the Street Vultures and look into the disappearance of another officer who had gone missing recently. Meeting the Street Vultures for the first time, they decided they'd like to take me on while riding their motorcycles. And I managed to hit someone's gas tank, and once it exploded, I got the trophy, Live by the Bike. I also found the secret in the steel mill for Murphy's pistol, and got the trophy, Good Eyes Murphy. Also at the end of the Street Vultures mission, I had to fight another robot, and once I completed it, I got the trophy, 20 seconds to comply. After this mission, I went back to the police station, and I had to meet up with Robocop's new handler. And I attempted to assist him on the gun range, and I managed to score over 300 points on the range myself and unlock 3 trophies. Dead On, This Guy Is Really Good, Super Cop. After this, I started the next mission, which took me to a bank heist where the OCP was losing its money to the street vultures, so I went in with the SWAT team and attempted to help them out. I managed to disarm the bomb in the bank and got the trophy, Don't Mess With the Money. I also managed to chase Wendell down and arrest him and got the trophy, Book 'Em. Next, Max Becker, who was a man who had been trying to replace and destroy Robocop all game, decided to create robots that would surpass Robocop. But unfortunately for Max, I managed to destroy all the robots in under 10 minutes and got the trophy, There Can Only Be One. I went to the jail to get Wendell's confession when he managed to start a riot and actually attempted a breakout. But thankfully, Robocop was there to start blasting everyone. And once we finished the mission, we got the trophy, Let's Talk. Continuing the story, I went to meet Dr. Blanche at her home within a hotel, where some mercenaries came and tried to unalive her. But again, thankfully Robo was there this time. During the escape though, I managed to free a cat from the burning building and got the trophy, A Real Hero. After getting the doctor out of the burning building and to the safety of my partner Ann Lewis, it was time for Robo to try to find Wendell. So we tracked the signal to the sewers where the mercenaries looked like they were operating out of. I managed to run into the first turret of the game, and I decided to hack it for the trophy, Maybe Used Against You. After leaving the sewers, we made our way to the OCP headquarters to meet with the old man to learn that he passed away, and Max Becker actually took over the OCP. And now he wanted to showcase us off as his new robot force at the Weapon Expo. But once we left the OCP building, we got the trophy Cashing Out. Since this guy had the bright idea to replace the entire police force with robots, but this guy can't even manage to keep the remote for the robots on hand, we had to fight against an army of mercenaries and robots that was all now under Wendell's control because he managed to find the remote. But finally, after taking everyone out and managing to hunt down Wendell, we finally confronted him and his mercenaries, which we actually learned that the mercenaries are no longer getting paid because the money got dried up, and because they were not getting paid anymore, they left Wendell with no protection. So Robo decided to put an end to Wendell, and with that and the mission finishing, we got the trophy, Not Arresting You Anymore. After that, we were on to the final mission, where we needed to take on a robot who broke into the OCP headquarters, and actually caused a bunch of destruction. Turns out it was the original CEO of the OCP, who implanted his brain into a giant robot to try to be like Robocop. But it made him into a mindless monster and he destroyed everyone and everything in his path. He even ended up unaliving Max Becker. But once that happened, it was time for the final showdown with Robo. After a little bit of going back and forth and destroying the building completely, we finally managed to take down the old man and got the trophy, Nice Shooting, Son. Now I had one trophy left, and it was a mission that I missed back on the first night within the game. I was unable to complete it once I left the area after the first time, which unfortunately at that time I didn't realize. And I also didn't realize that there was a trophy related to that quest on that night. So I went back into my old saves and reloaded one that had me back in downtown on the first night. And I actually managed to find the quest and I completed it for the trophy, Hard Boiled. And with that, finally came the platinum, to serve and protect. And with that, we were finally done. So how was the platinum? Was it fun? Did I enjoy it? To answer those, yes, the platinum was extremely fun. This game was extremely straightforward and simple, right? I only needed to play through the game once and complete some side objectives when it seemed best to complete them. There was no need to grind or find any extra collectibles that felt unnecessary. Sure, the game was not crazy difficult, but it was a ton of fun to visit Robocop's universe. I may not have the most experience with it, but I can tell you that this game has left me wanting more from the Robocop franchise, and I would love to see another installment. Plus, the simplicity of the gunplay was just perfect. But anyways, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like and subscribe, and if there's any games you want to see me 100% or platinum, drop them down below in the comment section. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.